More people are expected to return to their workplaces tomorrow as the government seeks assurances from employers in England that measures are enforced to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Ministers in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland are still advising people to work from home if possible. Pupils will also begin to return to school tomorrow, with politicians divided on whether exams should be delayed next year because of the lingering effects of the lockdown on schoolwork. Here's our political correspondent Nick Eardley.
This week, these classrooms will start filling up again. Many children will be back at school for the first time since March, as England takes another big step moving out of the coronavirus shutdown. It's a big political test for the government, which has made education its key priority. And in number 10, there's increasing confidence that most pupils will return in the coming days.
The focus now has got to be getting those schools reopen, allowing them to reopen safely, getting parents to have the confidence for their children to return to school. That is the focus right now.
Schools will look different and there will be logistical challenges, but ministers and their medical advisors agree more damage will be done by keeping children off school. Labour, though, is already warning next year's exams may have to be delayed.
We think it's really right that the priority should be giving young people all of the focus that we can to have as much teaching and learning as possible before they're assessed next summer, and that means we're suggesting pushing back the exam date.
The last few weeks have been far from plain sailing for the government, with some very public changes in policy. Here in Parliament there are a number of Tory MPs who are frankly a bit nervous about what's happened over the last few weeks, who fear the number of U-turns suggests the government isn't completely in control of what's going on. And in the next few weeks they want to see ministers come up with a detailed plan about how to open up the economy again and encourage much more of us back to work. There are concerns in government too about empty shops and offices. Ministers want more people back at work in England where it's safe, but business groups say more reassurance may be needed.
Tomorrow's a very big day. Childcare in schools is one of the key reasons why people are struggling to get back to work at the moment. But it's not enough in itself. You need transport, you need testing, you need that confidence in the offices. Those are coming through as well. And then those people who do want to come back should feel confident to do so. So there's no one size fits all here. It's a question of finding the right balance so that individuals and firms can do what is best for them.
OK guys, can you stop putting our masks on, please?
In some parts of the UK, schools are already back. This is Ross Hall Academy in Glasgow, where pupils have been wearing face coverings in communal areas today, in line with new rules. Life has changed considerably in recent months, and while elements of daily life are returning, many look very different indeed.
And MPs, of course, Nick, return to work tomorrow after what's been a pretty torrid summer for the government.
Yeah, that's right, Clive. Tomorrow is a big moment for families across England, many of whom will see something like normal for the first time in months. But it's a big political moment for the government too, because as you say, there are many MPs, many Tories who are unhappy with the way ministers have dealt with education. I've got to say there is confidence in government tonight that over the next few days, millions of children across England will be back in classrooms. It's hoped that will mean many parents can go back to work as well, and ministers are urging people who've been working from home to speak to their employers about whether it's safe to go back to offices. But the government is still balancing many of the balances it's had over the last few months. How to keep the virus under control while getting the economy moving again. And getting people back at work, back at school, isn't risk-free. We know the chief medical officers say that schools are safe, but they've also warned that the activity that surrounds them could mean that there's upwards pressure on the transmission of coronavirus. One of the first things Boris Johnson will do tomorrow when MPs are back here is name his new Cabinet Secretary, the head of the civil service, and it's expected that will be Simon Case, currently Mr Johnson's permanent secretary, one of his inner team. His first few months in that job will be focused on the next stage of the coronavirus response. There are still huge questions about what the next few months look like in the UK, and let's face it, none of the answers are easy.
OK, Nick, thank you for that. Nick Eardley there at Westminster.